Let's go. Building. This is the Underground. World News Live. And good evening. Let's get a mic check. Troublesome in the house. Gunther, good to see everybody. Thank you, Kev Bar, Hoodie Ross, Daily Survival, everyone out there that shares the stream. Thank you, Steve, E. Fitz, Flip. Good to see everybody. Wayne the Pain, Sheepdog, Me Puppet. I hope all is well. All right, so everything's sounding good, huh? A2, E Phase, Minx, Bones. All right. So things looking better here using the restream. What about the layout? You guys liking the layout? Never sounded better. It's crisp. It's just amazing what switching up from the OPS has done. Not to say that, they're not going to be a hiccup here and there, but for the most part, everyone thinks it sounds better. And I'm just now trying to get everything locked in, like the layout and what screen will let you hear the audio and all this other stuff. We'll do one more test at the end of the stream. I just want to make sure that I can start the music player off the main screen like you've just seen it, the media player. I've got it set to where it's capturing the audio off of everything you guys are seeing on the on my main screen. All the tabs that I click through the night, everything that I play, it's picking up that audio. So I put the music player up on that screen and hit play, and it came through. But if I take it off and put it on my laptop screen here in front of me, will it pick it up? Well, we're going to find out at the end. All right, thank you. Yeah, OBS is BS. You got that right. Thank you, everyone, again, for all the feedback. I appreciate it. Good to see everybody. Shadow, Gary, Steely in the house. I hope all is well with everyone. Boy, we always got a lot to cover. So let me first off say, if you need to get anything to me, it's dabu7@yahoo.com. That is the email. You can also at me in the chat at dabu77. I'll try my best to get back to you if I catch it. Wow, right at the gate, I got to thank Kev Bar for the coffees, man. Coming through big time. I bet to the fullest. Wow. Kev Bar, man. Much appreciated and much love. I want to thank all the mods out there that share the coffee link all the time. Appreciate it. I've got a thing on the screen that pops up here. It's a QR code for the buy me a coffee. It's a little different than the old setup. Of course, it's not going to be like OBS. It's not going to make a noise whenever it goes off. But I do have my email open, so anytime they come through, I can see them and give a shout out. So much love and thank you for the support. For anyone that supports the show, appreciate it to the fullest. Chrissy from England, London, England. Much love. Seen a lot of UK cats pour in as of late, past year or so. May attribute that to Daz and Crown Jewels. But much love to all my peoples out there worldwide. I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. Yeah, and we're going to get this cracking here with just a heads up. Ice presence up there in Massachusetts, Eve says. So thank you for the heads up and that bit of information. Mary Poppins in the house. All right, so, and thank you, NP and Y. Cyber Punch. You got to be rolling that out, man. It's a new thing. Cyber Punch replacing the old punch bug. Yep. If you don't know, now you know. So we started. A lot of people doing it. You might recall Spain had a massive blackout. There was reports also here today, and I'm going to get into it here in a little bit, about outages in the UK as well. But they're warning about it here in the United States now. They're saying there's a growing risk of summer power outages and shortages that are going to hit. And you may not see a blackout, but they're saying that a lot of people are going to see brownouts. And these are like, blackouts through 3/4 of the day. You're going extended periods of time where everything's shut down. And I don't see how they get by doing this for too long. I mean, the fridge is going to go bad and things of that nature. But the grid operator is warning that a perfect storm could take down the grid. Wow. It's not like we ain't seen this one coming from a mile away. We always knew that taking out the power was going to be a power play at some point. In all reality, this grid needs redone anyway here in America. I'd say before you can redo it, you got to tear it down. I don't know how it's going to unfold, but This grid's going to go down eventually. In the PJM service territory that you see right here, this is massive. You can see it extends into Kentucky, halfway through Kentucky, all through Ohio, into Indiana, even over into Illinois, all of Pennsylvania, Maryland, all these regions up in here, Virginia, for the most part, West Virginia. All of that is on one big chunk of grid. Just never forget that that's a main chunk right there. So if this one in particular was targeted and went down for whatever reason, you're talking about hitting one of the most populated areas in America. Everything east of the Mississippi, that's where the population kicks in big time. And especially up toward New England, right in this area, there's just a ton of people that would be affected by this. And of course, if one sector goes down, it's going to cause problems and constraints in other areas. And I'm telling you, we made a song about this. When the grid goes down, you better be ready. And it's the truth. It's one thing you should be ready for. I mean, I'm off grid. Are you? I've only dedicated the past 5 years of my life to get here. You know, when they locked us down and did all this, you know. Chrissy, thank you again. Yes, in London today, there was electricity failure. People stuck on trains and in the tubes. Much love. Yes, I'm going to get around to that and the fires here in a bit. Just starting off here, heads up and a warning about our grid. And someone, thank you for those coffees. Appreciate it to the fullest. Pittsburgh. The top 50 companies in America. I want to point them out because a lot of people got stocks in these companies. And it's the companies that they're going to literally sell everybody out on and do them in. Because everybody holds just, a handful of shares, a couple hundred shares, maybe a couple thousand if you're lucky of these big dog shares. But they hold millions of shares. And when they sell those millions, every other person that's in the left holding the bag. That's the name of the game. It's what they do. I'm surprised more people don't see it for what it is. The whole 401k thing. And really, there should be more warnings, I think, risks by financial advisors and by companies. It's often the company you work for that has this whole 401k thing going, right? So we've been in a big bull market in a run for a while now. And Trump just came out the other day and told everybody, you better buy it now. You better buy stock. You know what that tells me? They're trying to fatten up the hog. That's what they're doing. They're virtually telling everybody out there to go and buy stocks, buy everything. Everything's about to go through the roof. The golden age of America. I'm telling you, this is a ton of people are going to go out there on these words, especially a bunch of his blind base that ask any questions. So what they're doing is they're going to go and take whatever else is left sitting around and stuff it into this 401k or into these stocks. And it is expanding, but you got to have, hindsight's 2020. You got to see what's going on, like right there. Like, you got to know that nothing lasts forever like this, and like bubbles pop. This to me is exactly what I said. They're fattening up the hog before the slaughter. I want everyone out there, to get as much as possible into the stock game because that's your money. You see? This is where all the big dogs out can get your money. So Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, all top of the list. Alphabet, Amazon, Meta, which is Facebook. You can see Saudi Aramco down here. It's a juggernaut in its own right. Going to talk about them here in a bit. You can see Berkshire Hathaway up there at 1 trillion alone. Warren Buffett's company, that's his baby, retired all of a sudden and stepped to the sidelines with a record amount of cash. Some $1 billion in cash. That's a red flag to me. Right there. All the signs are there for this thing to go down. Like in the offing, like this year. Catch everybody by surprise. They want this to happen when bags are fat. Don't forget that. All right? It's the great taking. That's what I call it, the great taking. Somebody else might have wrote a book on it, or somebody else might use the slogan or whatever, but this is what comes to my mind when I see this whole event unfolding. I see it being like the Great Depression. I call it the Great Taking, because this is how everyone's going to get left put on their butt with nothing. It's because they're going to take it. And trust me, I hear the argument out there all the time. People say, well, I live off of my 401k. I draw off of the 401k. Without it, I'm done. Now, I understand that. I get that. But what I don't think you're understanding that is that they're going to steal everything that's in there. Oh, it sounds so conspiracy. All they got to do is hit the sell button. Let's soak in. Okay? And you're done. Then there's nothing to draw off of. Then what? Then you're really done, in my opinion. So that's why I say, if it was me, I would pull it out and I would live off of it that way. Same amount. I mean, what's the difference? If you can pull it out and you can just decide and say you're living off a couple thousand, $2,000, $3,000 a month off of that, you're pulling from or something like that. Well, do it from out of your closet or out of your safe or whatever. Or wherever, like move it to your bank if that's what you want to do. Like don't have it in the stock market where they can steal it. You remember that I warned about this over and over and over and over and over. And when you see the day come when it happens, you remember all the times I warned about this one. And how many people actually get caught in it when it was so obvious. But you think like criminal at the top and you want to steal everyone's money. They right where they want it. They got everybody right where they want. All they got to do is just fatten them up a little bit more. And that's exactly what Trump did when he said, go out and buy. Buy. So again, people are going to probably buy a majority of these stocks you see on your screen right here. You see? That's what they're going to do. And they know this. If you can control 4 or 5 of the biggest stocks out there, you can bring down the whole market. A lot of the guys saying that right now, because there's so much money wrapped up in like Apple, Microsoft, Alphabet, and Amazon. If you were to just bring them and throw Meta in, if you just bring them down right there, it's over. You cripple the whole market. It's a pretty scary moment. Something like that, when you can't trust none of these goons out there. But no one's going to listen. Maybe 1 or 2 or a few of you out there that hear my voice will. Maybe if we're super lucky, one of you talk one of your family members into making a move and you'll avoid what's coming. This is the big move. When you want to take the big heist and steal the biggest money that you can in one fall swoop, there you have it. It's rather scary, and people were blind to it. Again, they think everything's good. Well, we're up 3% today. You know, winning. But hey, get it while the getting is good. I'm just saying, don't get caught. Hold the bag. Yeah, don't invest in their crap. Your community is what you should do. You should invest in our project, under project, a righteous project for the people, for we the people. here, an American project. And all I could say is, I've warned, told people from Jump Street now for the past 30 days about our project before it lifts off or goes to another level. There ain't nothing but positive to say about what we've done and all the people that have made 10x, 20x off of our project already thus far. They sure have. And it feels good. It feels good to be able to do something that we want to grow. So with Under, the motto is buy the dip and hodl, hold it till we hit that 3 million benchmark window at least. It's what we'd like to see it get to, and do something righteous. And not controlled by these goons. So those are the most valuable companies out there. And Apple, they're going to hike up your phone prices here for the first time since 2017. They're also going to be making these things in India. I don't know if this is going to affect them. I don't have an iPhone. I'm sure some of you guys out there do, maybe listening to me through one. But just, I don't know what you're expecting them to get cheaper. It's just going to get more and more and more expensive when it comes to this stuff out there. So I don't have an iPhone, but yeah, man, it's going to get more expensive. Everything is, right? Even eggs. I told you about this before. If you can, get some chickens. This is a tricky one, depending on where you're at. I think that when the day comes, having chickens running around is going to get you targeted in the wrong areas. It's when it kicks in. When it kicks in. I'm I don't really put 100% certain on anything, but man, this is say I'm 99% certain that they're going to roll out H5N1 bird flu. They didn't beta test us for nothing. Everyone seems to forget. Everyone's got short memories. Seem to forget we were just locked down and the whole world got rocked. And yeah, just a few years ago, this was all going on, and it feels good to be back to normal life. I'm sure for most people, but man, eggs. I don't know where you're at in the world looking at it, but you know better than anybody what they are at your local store. They range $1.48 for a dozen on the bottom end here, up to $7 in Chile. And Denmark's up there. I mean, we're up there at $4.23. We're up there in terms of the price. It got high in some places here recently. But much love, Harm, Joe, Suzuki, Big D. Yeah, and much love to all the farmers out there, everyone out there doing GMO, and raising their cattle the right way, all their stuff the right way. Rhonda said I paid $5.99 Friday. Like, where are you at? Like not Rhonda, like $5.99 for a dozen eggs. She paid Friday. That would put you in second on this list. Then, I'm assuming America. Yeah. $3.69 in Florida. Yeah, well, some of it around the world. U.S. cattle futures have gone up as well. Um, they're saying that there is a pest invasion going on. They call it a New World screwworm. So what they're doing is they're stopping cattle, any horse, any bison from being imported into the United States via the southern border, and this is effective immediately. Okay, so this is going to rock things. Thank you, Jennifer, neighborhood watchman. I mean, this story's crazy. Okay, we have a new parasite, screwworm, so to speak, that eats the flesh of whatever it contaminates. So if it gets on your cattle, it gets on the horse, the bison, or whatever, it's going to start eating it alive, so to speak. This isn't good. You don't want this in your food supply or anything like that. So the last time, oh my gosh, listen to this warning. The last time this lady warns this, he warned the last time this devastating pest invaded America, it took 30 years for our cattle industry to recover. It cannot happen again. This is Secretary Brooke Rollins making this statement. Last streams, I told you how the meat supply was under attack. The cattle was under attack. We didn't even know about this. So you add this to it. This isn't good. This cuts off any meat coming into this country via the southern border. I hope everyone can hear me clear. I don't know if this is going to be on people's evening news across their TVs or not, but this is a huge, 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 huge move. So it's effective stopping all the cattle from coming. So it's just what we've got here, we got to depend on at the moment. And that is a very small herd supply as is. So cattle futures, like I said, beef futures going up. I expect them to go even higher, man. Is Bill Gates growing screwworms? I wouldn't doubt it. They like the flannels. They like the mosquitoes. They like to mess with. Dude, they're making fake everything out there, man. So you gotta really do your research on where you're shopping and getting your food and anything else. Maybe some people don't care. Maybe some people take it for granted. But, I think we got to get on top of this. Spring. It's right now. This week, matter of fact, is the week to start getting stuff in the ground. So if there's ever been a time to start planting things, it's right now. Right? That's the only thing that I know is going to mitigate any damage, man. Growing some crops, man, the things that you eat. And yeah, it's good to grow a variety of things, but grow what you're going to eat. Don't be growing a bunch of things that you don't eat or you can't trade. Do some research on that before you start doing it. And you're going to come to find out. I just try it this year. You're going to find out some things are going to take. You're going to have some success with some things, and other things you may have some difficulty with. You run into some problems, your first issues, but you're going to see that this is what farmers deal with, and it's the name of the game. The realities of life. Better to learn them now in this environment, in a more peaceful environment, instead of a stressful, crazy type of environment. So, Meat Puppet, thank you for the coffee. And he says this: West Coast are down 35%. Now, there's a 90-day pulse, and I'm going to get into that here in a second. Much love, Pure Blood. I'm going to get into all the stuff, and thank you, North Cal 707 for the coffee and the support. Best way to support the channel right there. I appreciate it to the fullest. Gisela says, I just harvested hundreds of tomatoes. Where are you at? Awesome. Uncommon in the house. for hantavirus, he says. Chemtrail, any day, 35%. Hey, good looking out, brother. Hope all has been well, man. Canito in house. Steve in house. Steve Johnson. You wouldn't be from Northern Kentucky, would you? That'd be insane. Wayne Payne, much love. A total reset is what they're calling this with China. If you guys missed it, this is the big news in terms of the economic stuff. Apparently, they had big meetings with China, and they're trying to hail a total reset. I don't trust nothing they do. So even if it seems like it's good, most of the time, just give it a little bit of time, and then you're going to start to see all bad things showing up every time. So they call it a total reset. This sends the NASDAQ into bull market mode. Again, I told you, fatten the hog up. Remember this. Indiana. Wow, that's close, man. Grew up in KY, Cherry Hill. Yeah, Lakeville. Much love. Thank you. CB in the house. Pure Bloods, baby. Stealth mode, Cindy. All right, so this China deal means that they have agreed to lower tariffs in a 90-day cool-off period. So what they're saying here is they don't want to decouple from China. I tell you all the time, the Chinese market, the U.S. market, they're locked in together. Decoupling means that they would both go on their own, pretty much, forcing the whole world to try to pick sides, and it does damage to both sides, big time. This whole deal, though, it does not include cars, steel, or aluminum. Trump goes on to say that maybe he'll speak to Xi Jinping by the end of the week. He says the China deal was not the easiest thing in the world to get to paper, but they got it done. And, I mean, regardless, this is a good thing. So we're not all paying out the nose for these items. If you need something from China, you need this or that, you need an electronic part that comes from there or something like, God bless Casey. Much love, Spiral, Parker, Rome. We'll play this clip here and see if it plays without no issues.
We achieved a total reset with China after productive talks in Geneva. Both sides now agreed to reduce the tariffs imposed after April 2nd to 10% for 90 days as negotiators continue on the larger structural issues. And I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, that doesn't include the tariffs that are already on, that are our tariffs, and it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that, or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back.
Okay, so Buffalo, much love. So he's made a big move here at the U Academy toward the whole political thing, as I'm going to show here. This next one. He targets Big Pharma. He slashes drug prices. And again, if this is a positive, this is a positive. Thank you, Steve. We got to take the wins where we can get them. They can't slide by here just roosting everything, like buffaloing the people and everything and doing devious, evil things. The only way this is going to work, was going to work this whole way, is if they did things like this, positive things out there that kept his base clamoring and talking, oh, they're winning, winning, winning. But look, we'll give props for the due. If they're going to slash drug prices and make it cheaper for Americans to bring it on, do it. Let's do this, man. America needs, something good here at this point in terms of all this, because they were talking about the drugs through the roof. So better that it's pulled back, because a lot of people out there, a lot of you guys listening, you've got medications, you've got things that you've got to get. I don't know exactly how everyone's paying for everything, but I'm telling you, largely, a lot of people depend on insurance and things like that. Um, some people have co-pays, all this stuff. It's just good to see it go down. So it's positive. We'll give them. Let's look at China real quick. China falling apart. Just so people know, they have this model that simply cannot survive without this deal that just went on. Maybe you could say the U.S. knew this the whole time, but this worked to their advantage. Chinese manufacturing and all that, everything taking hits immediately, even of themselves. I told you on the last stream, China shifted all the production of their own Chinese out of the country over in India. And maybe after all these talks, they shift back, but they did it to dodge all these tariffs. So now if they ain't got to deal with, although he did say cars, steel, the metal. He said earlier that it was going to stay on. So no, maybe they do keep them moving to India, which is vital for them. So you see, China's the ones supplying a lot of the military aircraft and the stuff to Pakistan that's fighting India right now. And of course, India and China getting in their own little fights on the border. But they also lean on each other locally for a lot of local trade and things like that. And things like this, like China needs India so they can roll up in there and they get money and not get hit with massive tariffs that Trump's trying to hit them with. And they stop this because the Chinese are trying to send through a wave of vehicles that they don't even want the West to even know about. They don't even want the American public to basically catch wind that these things could even be potentially good. Gas powered, maybe way better than the models out here now. Maybe hybrids that are carrier. And Elon and all of them, they don't want that competition flooding the market here. He wants it. And that whole thing with the EV thing is shifting. And I've got an update coming up on that here in a second as well. Trump says the EU is nastier than China. That's saying quite a lot. That's basically saying, and I told you before, it seems like we're shifting on the world stage. Like we're not in really good relations with the European Union in that bloc. So left-leaning anyway, so totalitarian, Macron, all the goons. Wait till you see what I got on him here in a minute. Crown Jewel's in the house. Give you a shout out earlier, brother. Much love. Hope all is well. Bearded skunk. Yeah, Trump. Yeah, the Gentile Messiah telling that he's going to pass this big, beautiful bill. And he's trying to get the GOP to support a big, beautiful bill. Let's take a look at it real quick, because all too often they push these bills out there and nobody has a clue what's in them, what they mean, nobody cares, and they just get rammed through, and every time it's just destroyed. So this week, you have the Republicans meeting on tax, energy, agricultural, all this stuff. Committees coming together and going to be talking about this one big, beautiful bill. That's what it's literally called. It's what they dubbed it. Now, the administration unveiling this action, like I was telling you, to lower pharmaceutical drug prices by up to 90% under the most favored nation pricing policy. But it says that this bill would terminate or phase out numerous clean energy tax credits, including for residential solar, new energy efficient homes, hydrogen production, sharp limits on components sourced from prohibited foreign entities like China. So all those Biden era environmental policies are all targeted for termination in this. The legislation also introduces a new federal income tax deduction for qualified tips in overtime compensation through 2028. This is aimed at the working class people out there. However, these benefits explicitly exclude higher earners, service sector owners. So this is basically trying to promote the people, the lower wage people making tips and surviving off tips in that aspect. The bill extends provisions from a 2017 Trump tax law, including the higher estate and gift tax exemption, and the limitation on the deduction of state and local taxes, SALT basically, and a modified $30,000 cap for individuals. So some of the things that are in this, and here's some other bullet points here. Thank you, E-Phase. Writing. Kid says not cutting out on his end. All right, so a tax break on overtime through 2028. So that's a raise the debt limit by $1 trillion. That's what this thing does. These are the other hidden things that are in here. Okay, so the people know. I wish they had bullet points on all these like this. It creates a tax-exempt MAGA savings account for kids. It does not include the new millionaire tax bracket. It limits or terminates the tax benefit of an itemized deduction that's going to affect people. It requires a certificate to claim the Earned Income Tax Credit, or the EITC, and imposes penalties for fraudulent misstatements. It terminates the IRS's direct file program, so you can't just direct file with them no more. It terminates tax-exempt status for any organization that supports what they label a terrorist organization. It increases penalties for unauthorized disclosure of taxpayer information from $250,000 or up to $250,000 and up to 10 years imprisonment. It permanently extends and expands the child tax credit and requires that Social Security numbers are used to claim it. So you have to have a Social Security number to get that child tax credit. You can't go being illegal here trying to get it. It also permanently increases the qualified business income deduction from 20% to 23%, and permanently limits the deduction of gambling losses to the extent of winnings. So you can't write off losses, only winnings. So those are some of the key bullet points there in this whole thing, so that you know. Wale Coyote, thank you for the support. Coffees, much love, my brother. God bless. U.S. crypto funds smashing old record, seeing a huge inflow, accounting for 93% of the total inflows year to date. This has looked to me, it could be the beginning of another leg higher in an extended bull market. And this means this thing could go Super Bowl from here. It's just propped up to do it. I don't know what could really stop it. It's only like, it would have jumped up to 104, 105 today, something like that, 106. The high is 110. Get out of here. Like, it's not going to jump up and touch it. Come on. I think it's going to hit it. It's going to FOMO past it. And I said before, 120, 150 range window. It may land before it pulls back. This is going to take the whole market with it. Ethereum, XRP, Solana. They say huge gains here recently. And that's good for projects like ours, Under Project, which is based off of Solana chain. So as Solana rises, also the whole project rises. And vice versa. If it falls back, it would fall back as well. But it's all about these huge bull markets where the money's made and everything changes. I see it lifting up from here and going on a little bit of a tear. And here could be one reason. They say that it's now Bitcoin itself is deflationary. And it's being used as a hedge here against the dollar, against debt, against all these things, similar to gold. And what's gold done? Gold's pulled back. See a headline like, oh, gold just dumped off like $100 or this and that. Like, good. Like, if you're sitting on the sidelines looking for something to invest in and where to stick your cash or 401k money or wherever, like hard assets, gold, top of the list, especially here in a state where it's tax free, where they accept it as money and they're no longer taxing it. You got it. Lowrider and house. Yeah. Yes, Lowrider. Yeah, good comment. Yeah, gold, silver, before silver is going to have its day. If you're at any yard sale, if you're any event, any place, walk in any shop, and you see old tarnished silver sitting there, and I'm telling you should go out and just do this weekend or whatever. Go looking. See what you can't find. Beat everybody to the punch. And get out there and find some old tarnished silver sitting on a shelf somewhere in a store. And offer them a little bit of a price on it. Give them some sentimental story. Reminds me of something from. And just offer them some money. Maybe you get out of there with it for cheap, surprised. Especially people are not paying attention right now. You're not hearing nothing crazy about silver right now, like every day or anything. Like the average person's, so they can get caught slipping there. That's your gain. Again, any yard sales, anything like that. And like it's yard sale season coming up, right? Like Florida passing metals as legal tender. Okay. And many others as well. Warlock catching some nice big bluegills today. Hey, wish I was there with you. How does gold get to 10,000? Well, let them vaults in Fort Knox and there be no gold in there. You'll crazy. Like more than that. Like you would see a massive emergency. And the fact that they're still kicking the can on that is kind of scary. I don't know, man. Why are they stalling out telling us about what's in Fort Knox? It's a big question. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support to the fullest. Also, if you're new to the channel tonight, make sure to hit the subscribe button. TD Bank closing down 38 branches. And this is just a big heads up for everyone out there. I told you before, TD Bank is tied into a huge scandal, and it may be coming unraveled right here. You got to watch this one. The banks could come down domino style from here, and it starts with TD Bank. Okay? TD Bank got caught by the feds laundering money, Chinese money at that, tied into fentanyl. Granted, Trump just struck up a big deal, a reset with China, and said he's going to take China at their word that they're going to stop sending fentanyl in here. You're going to take a drug dealer at their word that they're going to stop sending the drug into an adversary's country. Like, guaranteed it stays flowing. I just don't buy that one bit. Like, it's the most devastating and deadly thing out there that I've seen. It's killed more people than anything. It continues to do it. It would be a blessing if it does stop. But, like, I'm not taking their word on it. Are you kidding me? The communist Chinese, like, how much? Come on, Gentile Messiah Trump. So anyway, TD Bank got caught. Remember, they said 5 big American banks were tied into this, and they didn't want to name them. Then we snuffed out. Bank of America was one of them. And it was because of Warren Buffett's actions. Matter of fact, and he didn't buy back in to it. And he sold all the stocks off. And we were like, whoa, what's going on here? Like, world's biggest player doesn't want to touch the stock, and he's dumping, and he did. And then he's sitting in cash, and then he just retired. I'm telling you, all the signs are there for this thing to go down. I fully expect Bank of America to get drug into this. They already are. Larger. Okay, and you're going to start to see stories just like this. Closing 38 branches, including 5 in New Jersey. That's TD Bank here. But next it's going to be Bank of America. It's going to be others. And they're going to start going down. Traditional banking is coming to a close. This is by design. Okay? This is by design. Okay? Remember, Eric Trump was just on record, just came out and said again, he was like, look, traditional banking will be gone within 10 years. He's knee deep in all this stuff this time around in this administration. And I've watched videos on him. He knows what he's talking about. You know, love or hate the Trumps and how big they're into this. I will say Eric Trump has taken the time, from what I've seen, he knows what he's talking about in this sector. And he knows that there's a revolution basically at hand here. And that's why they're pushing everything with crypto to the forefront and want to be the leaders in it. And said that American projects will be tax-free as an incentive and all that. There's not going to be banks, you know, going down the shut. The problem always is the tyrannical control at the top. All right? I've said this time and time again here as of late. Like, the days of robbing a bank are about to be gone, man. Like, all these guys that have gotten away with it or ever did it, like, they won't exist no more because there won't be dollars. They just stopped minting or making the pennies. They ordered it. Next is the nickels. And this is going to happen probably on a yearly basis. Trump's watch, it's already begun, to where they're done making the money. It's happening right in front of your face. Right in front of your face. The biggest changes and events. They're happening right now. Right now. I mean, it's already started. We're living in crazy times, man. Yeah, closing in mass all over the place. The smaller the banks, the quicker they go down. So when the bigger banks start to domino and go down, closing dozens of branches, something to watch, man. Trump makes a move. Again, this is going against the Biden era stuff. He rescinds the appliance efficiency standards. You know, everything, it's got the Energy Star out there. They're basically saying that what this does, it made everything more expensive. It made it crappier. And that's their take on it. And they're doing away with all of it. The energy standard stuff that was attached to all stuff. So that's another move that he made. I've warned you about AI and a constant thing. Not only AI, but ASI, artificial super intelligence. Okay? You're going to see it everywhere, and it's already being deployed. The FDA is a government agency that is beginning and rolling this out largely. They're going to deploy this largely across the whole board. Replacing people and all that stuff. Right, exactly. Low rider. Man, brother, I'd love to just hang out with you again, man. The states, we got multiple states suing the Trump administration over the termination of funding for EV charging stations. Now, this is interesting because I feel they're going to win. This isn't Trump's fault, but I mean, he's the current president. It's basically suing the government because this came from the government on Biden's watch. All this EV stuff, they put it in motion. All these people bought all these cars, and now they're taking away all the charging stations. And I said this before, there's no way this doesn't hurt. It does. So what Elon has made sure that all his Tesla locations have these charging stations, and he supplied charging stations of his own. But the government's taking away the money for it all now. So, I mean, if someone that bought one of these cars and you're stuck with it for the next, however many years, and you depend on one of these stations, and now they're getting shut down, people are going to be ticked off. I think they win this in court. I think they win something somehow. Maybe not, but righteously, if I was the judge, I would think that these people are getting kind of screwed, and they don't deserve that. Like, the companies, like, something needs to be made here. Like, they should be able to turn around and like sue, like they're doing for the setup, for being left in a you got a vehicle you can't even take nowhere. It's sitting in the driveway because there's not even a charging station within 100 miles. You can't even get to it. Like, it's a nightmare. Again, I don't know how it doesn't affect Elon. It does, but it's speaking of Elon. He reveals that Doge has discovered another 100,000. Listen to this. I'm going to slow this down for you. It seems like we report on all this all the time, and it like goes in the ear and out the other. Like, nobody wants to hold anyone accountable. So he reveals Doge discovered 100,000 active federal employees. Active. Working right now, collecting a check right now, who were also collecting unemployment insurance. That's a crime. 100,000 of them. That's a crime. Not a mention of no one going to jail. You're witnessing massive black magic being used on everyone right in front of your face. I sit here and tell you these things. They can hit Americans' brains and just won't stick. They want the next. 100,000 active federal employees that are working right now, getting up tomorrow morning to go to work, are actively committing this crime. That is an army. Not a word of any of them going to jail. I'm telling you, this is like, the only way I know how to describe it is black magic. It's like them divulging all their crimes and trying to make it seem like it's transparency, but yet no one is being held accountable for nothing. Every freaking show, I have something to tell you like this, and no one's ever going to jail. I'm not even going to play this clip. It's a 15-minute clip. He's sitting there staring at freaking Eric Trump's old lady, Laura Trump, like he wants her or something. I could see them just sitting there staring at each other. It was retarded. Anyway, this guy ticks me off. I'm sorry. I can't stand him, this evil man. I see right through him. Mr. Baphomet in his Baphomet costume. Mr. They're trying to summon the beast. Mr. wants to stick a chip in your brain. Mr. Neuralink. Yeah. I don't trust him at all. And he is still being the mouthpiece out here telling everyone all these crimes are being, and no one's going to jail. It just blows my freaking mind. Pretty crazy. Where are we at? Top of the hour. All right, love. Good to see everybody out there. You be in the process. Oh, wow. Crazy. Lord's crazy. Crazy comment there in the chat. Adults must ring. This is nuts too. Adults must ring a doorbell before they get into the McDonald's in DC because everything is so chaotic. They ban anyone under 21 years old from coming in. You got to have like an adult with you, and like there's been repeated incidents of student violence. So like 18, 19, 20-year-olds or even younger. They're saying high school students here. So, yeah, they're saying that you've got to be at least 21. You got to show an ID before you can come into McDonald's. I mean, what does that say? It's just crazy, man. Amanda, the Happy Hippie Homestead, much love. Everybody there in upstate NY. Everybody out there, period, tonight. Checking in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification as well. They censor me hard. They never send out notifications hardly, either for the videos or for the live streams, it seems. But as long as we're rolling here, that's what counts. We've got, and this is for my cats in the UK that was talking about the fire and the blackout earlier. They're saying, is this another arson attack? They're saying that the London Underground operation disrupted by a substation. This is just hours after the Prime Minister's house gets burned. And what they're saying was definitely an arson attack, a targeted attack. That underground sign. I'll never forget when that long time ago, the creation of the underground that we represent here. I seen the sign online. I didn't know what it was for, where it was from. I just seen the image, and I was like, "Oh, that's a cool little underground image." And then I seen that it was for the underground substations here, and I was like, "Oh." Interesting though that this fire happens at his house. They're pretty darn sure it's arson attack, and then this happens. This shuts down the trains, all this stuff. So it's caused some mayhem. Not sure what's going on here, but something's happening in terms of these fires and the blackouts. Again, much love to my cats in the UK. It's late now, I'll tell you. They stay up late just to hear the first half of the show. So any of them I mean, there was quite a few of them in here at the beginning of the show. By the end, if they're still hanging around, they're a trooper. Much love, all my cats again, worldwide. I'm just thankful that I have the ability to reach people globally and get the truth out there and spread the message. Yeah. So much love to everybody out there. Hope all is good this evening, wherever you're at. Let's move on to one of the big stories of the night. The Diddy trial. Get some details here on this because, you know, Diddy in these rings and all this stuff, it's he's an interesting one. You know, you would have thought he's pretty stupid, to be honest. He's obviously turned on his handlers, or he's pissed somebody off at the top. He's gotten out of control, like a spoiled brat, and they're checking him. This happens all the time when guys get out of line. Remember, they threw Bill Cosby in jail, and then like enough money, enough sacrifice, they'll let you out. And they did. It, like the game's different, just depending on the player in it, the circumstances, and how much they're willing to sacrifice. This is a dark game. It's a game attached to the Baphomet, and that's what they worship. And it's a game deep in blackmail. All right. So Epstein circles, some of the same circles, the same people that would have ran in Diddy circles at the higher levels. And what's not being talked about right now are those higher level guys. And they could drag this whole thing out before their names are ever even mentioned in a court. Or it could happen here soon. I mean, some of the key guys in this, if you want to take this all back to the roots of where this all begins with Diddy, it's the industry. Handlers, groomers, guys that made them the way that they are. Okay? Who? Guys like Jimmy Iovine, who's still alive and breathing. It can be charged. Guys like Clive Davis, who was really handling Diddy, handling it to him, and taught him the ropes of everything he knows, of scandal, of doing the blackmailing, of videotaping, of doing everything that he's done. The transporting of humans, for sexual deeds and all this other stuff. And see, I gotta say, my biggest problem with all this is always going to be that the sexual stuff and things like that are going to override the headlines. Never will they talk about the murderous stuff. They won't talk about the sacrifices. Just like the same thing with Epstein Island. You see, there are occult sacrifices where people are killed. Do you understand? Adrenochrome is a real thing. This whole thing is very real. But you will never hear a word about that. That's how it's all scripted. It's all crap at that point. They want to talk about sexual this and that, blah, blah, blah. Underage girls, this and that. I mean, Guthrie just died suspiciously. Again, before we can ever even get a drop of the Epstein files. Like, come on, man. Like, this is a dirty mafia. Our government is a mafia, and they operate just like one, okay? And they clean up just like one. The Mossad, the CIA, very similar in the way that they move. The Mossad largely controlled the whole thing with Epstein, overseen by CIA. It was a hand-in-hand type of operation, very similar to the assassination of JFK and all these other things. It's always those guys that got their hands on everything. You know this, right? They are the beast. Okay? That's why when we say Illuminati, it's against them. They're the ones doing this globally, worldwide. They're the ones bombs right now somewhere, blowing babies' heads off. Okay? It's them. Every time. Right? And there ain't no righteousness up in these ranks. The judges are corrupt. This whole thing's sold out. So this whole Diddy trial is going to talk about sexual relations and things of that nature. And it's going to put on a little show. And that's going to be the extent of it. If they hang him out to dry on these sexual charges, they hang him out to dry. They did R. Kelly. R. Kelly in the same rings. Same rings, man. Probably had some relations with Diddy himself. That's how deep the faggotry goes between some of these individuals out here that go this way. So, look, they want to, some of them don't even hide it. So I don't know what to say. So here's the deal. We've got a whole slew of individuals they went through, 150 potential jurors vetted before 18 have been selected. Each handed a binder containing dozens of names and places that may come up during this whole trial. And some people had some conflictions. Some people were eliminated. And Cassie, that you've seen in the footage where he threw her on the floor and chased her down the hallway, she hit her. He pissed somebody off up high, connected to her. Well, she's about to have another kid. You can see right. She's supposed to come into the trial and give testimony in all this. Others were saying that if she has the baby, she obviously can't. Others were saying that she probably shouldn't because it comes with the whole thing and a child and blah, blah. And these are some of the things happening right now. So you're talking about one of the key witnesses here at the time. Timing is everything. Okay. What happens if she can't get it? Because she's having a baby. I mean, it's just the way that it is. The trial's not going to stop. They're not going to wait on her. That's not the way that it's going to be. She has to stand if that's the case in this instance. So, oddly enough, wouldn't you know that a star witness that's supposed to be showing up vanishes? Right? Victim number 3, a central figure in this whole thing. Okay? This is a woman that does not reside in New York. She had planned to testify without using a pseudonym, and she was prepared to detail very personal and explosive abuse against Combs and others. Maureen Comey, FBI former Director James Comey's daughter. Oh my gosh. This is a setup. This is a scam. This is like a show. This is a show. That guy's as corrupt as it gets, and his daughter is such of this thing. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is this a dream? Is this fake? Nope, it's real. This is so scandalous. All right, she informed District Judge Aaron Sabramian that efforts to contact the women and her lawyer have so far failed. Prosecutors admitted that if they can't locate her soon as victim number 3, they may not take the stand at all. So all of a sudden, this victim number 3 is MIA. You don't think she's floating somewhere in a river or something crazy? Definitely running for her life. You know. So, yeah, man. That's just, if you guys missed this, this is a pretty crazy one. I put a video out on this. And this is the tunnels in DC. For the longest time, I've had to hear people always say that this or that is a conspiracy. And then after time goes by, it comes true. Over and over and over again. The tunnels in DC, just like the tunnels across the country. Some people would say, oh, they don't exist because they want to be small-minded. But there's definitely tunnels all across this country. And you're sleeping and slipping if you're not hip to it. It's just a little bit of research will yield you results on dumbs in the tunnels. And I could take a throwback. R.I.P. Phil Snyder gave us life on information on stuff like this. And other troopers, soldiers, man, warriors that came exposing this stuff and gave their life in the process. There's been a ton. But the underground systems are very real. And I believe that vast amounts of humans are networked through here. People that are kidnapped, smuggled, all this stuff. Whatever they're looking for, the prime role. they're transported en masse underground via the tunnel networks. They always have been. They have for the longest time. It's I want to remind you, in R.I.P. John McAfee. He busted them. McAfee busted them. He gave governments laptops as a gift and then watched them, spied on them. Oh man, brother, you were the man. Genius. And you know what he saw? You know what McAfee saw? He saw that the leaders of all these countries were actually the biggest leaders in child trafficking and human trafficking on the fucking planet. That's what McAfee exposed. And you wonder why he's dead. Body's still sitting in Spain. Like, are you kidding me? Like, my man got a tattoo on him that said whack before he hit the ocean. He knew. He tried to tell everybody, they're going to get me. I'm not suicidal. I'm not suicidal. Gets it. They get him in jail. They Epstein him. Oh, he killed himself. Garbage. R.I.P., my brother. Warrior. Very few were able to do what you did. Caught these fools slipping. Gifted them computers and they used them. And he watched everything they did. Smoked them. He can be dead, but that doesn't take away the fact of everything he found and he discovered. All of these guys, Chester Bennington, all of them, man, Chris Cornell, all of these guys that were going against the beast in exposing this, man, just end up dead. Get out of here. They've killed so many. It's the beast, man, every time, dude. You've killed them all. Pisses me off. Pisses me off. All the good warriors that you know that they've clipped. Anyway, before I start breaking things, man, I'm going to show you and point out that these tunnels, and I put out a video today on this, these tunnels in DC are very real. This senator exposes that in one of the main halls, he just lifts up a panel in the floor and he shows you that these tunnels go to a staircase, and you can see on the staircase, there's writing. There's writing, people's signatures, and where people that were down there, in this area, were like graffitiing it. It seems to me it would be something more like something a kid would do, right? Something a kid would do. Maybe adults, if maybe it's adults if they're trapped in it. I mean, I would be writing help, not leaving my name or something, but we don't know exactly what it all says. I'm going to play the clip here real quick and just let you guys see this. Let him explain a little bit about it, and then I'm going to go into detail about the vast network of tunnels there.
So this is one of the neat things about the U.S. Capitol. Of course, this building, construction started in the 1700s. And there are all sorts of little hidden passageways. You saw I just pulled this cover up. Yeah. And you can see, if we get the camera to come over, don't fall in. We don't need a workers' comp claim today. But you can see there's a passageway. These are long stairs that used to be here that were closed off. We're just off of what's called Statuary Hall, which at one time was the actual House chamber. So, and it's outside there. But this is just an example of some of the little hidden secrets in the Capitol. And so one of the things when we bring tour groups in, if it's a small enough group, if it's a big group, we can't do it. But if it's a small group, we'll actually take them down this hall. Believe it or not, my big self have actually gotten down, and more importantly, out of this hall. I'm not going to...
See, he was just saying, and they just showed you down into the hole. this connects to a series, and this isn't like, this is known. Like some people, again, they say, oh, it's conspiracy, but no. This is very real. And thank you, Low Rider, for the coffees, my brother, man. Yes, and thank you for the message there. Much appreciated. This is a network that I think is connected big time into, I think you can really blow some things open if people pay attention to just the movement of things in certain areas. This tunnel system connects to another tunnel system and to a vast network underground. Some of them are cut off, some of them are blocked off. We know that there's also there's key underground spots right underneath the Capitol where certain things are held and buried in vaults. Where, I can't tell you exactly if where some of these end and if they connect up to the others, but I know that there's a vast tunnel, because we've seen this in pretty much, when you go back to the whole pizza thing. I'm not going to say the exact name of it, but you know what I'm talking about. We exposed throughout DC there was a vast network of these tunnels. They come up into people's houses, into certain stars' homes, and underneath government buildings. So, you know, what do you think? You think that nothing's happening with these tunnels? I definitely think something's going on. Right. On to the next one. Let's talk about Fetterman here for a second. Is there more to the Fetterman story? I don't know. I always thought the Fetterman was just kind of a weirdo, you know, like Zach Hubbard. I just thought he was and just didn't make a lot of sense with any of the stuff he ever said or did. I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do with him here. I don't know why or how he ever was selected and put into his position as senator. I thought he was losing it right at the gate, just like Biden. I just thought that, I don't know, he's wearing hoodies into, you know, congressional meetings and stuff like that. Like, he just didn't seem like he had it all there. So you'll have that, I guess, with him. Going to this next one. Affirm. This is crazy. Colorado. They're saying here the Colorado state legislature is considering a bill that would radically chill parent speech, dubbed the Kelly Loving Act. The bill and the law would empower judges to consider death naming and misgendering your child be types of coercive control, and they would consider this when making custody decisions. In simple terms, if your child gender transitions and you do not affirm their new identity, the judge can consider you a problem and basically take your child from you. Much love, Skippy. So this is scary. This is a deeply chilling bill. The bill's sponsor frame it as a way to show support for transgendering people. But if this bill goes way too far and strips the rights of parents, this is a warning, basically, in Colorado. If they put this through, if this becomes law, this is gonna create big issues for some people. You won't even have a chance to fight it. You won't even be on the books law. So does this question your beliefs? Does it? Because if you can't even like instill your beliefs and what you believe in your kids, and try to teach to keep them on the correct path, like held accountable for trying to do that. Yeah, back asswards. It's just crazy. I don't know, man, Colorado, I'd watch out. It's getting really tyrannical up there. Like I said before, it seems like your governor might be one of those that gets arrested, kind of similar to the in Jersey that just went down, because of some of the stuff that they're doing and pushing. Like any state that wants to hold rapists and murderers in your jail cell and like not let agents come and take them out of the country, like you should be held accountable. Yeah, you should. Thank you, Ava, for the coffees. Leslie, for the coffees and the messages, guys. I appreciate the love and the support. Real talk, right? Raw, smoke them. Much love, Gary. Keep that banger hot. Let's look at one on Macron and company getting busted. Oh boy, they are busted. If you ain't seen this clip, these guys are busted. They stand what looks like on a train with a bag of white stuff and the little tool that they scoop it up with and stick it in their nose. So, I'm going to play this clip so you guys can see what they do. Before I do, I'm going to tell you though, when I hit play, you're going to see them sit down. See the white bag? I'm pointing at it on the screen here. It's right where this dude's leaning over. It's right by his forehead on the table here in front of Macron. Macron grabs it and see the tool sitting in front of this guy on the right. The guy on the right grabs the tool. Macron grabs the bag, and like you can tell they're hiding it. I mean, it's the kid says spoon. All right, spoon, whatever you want to. Oh, I don't dabble in these things, so I don't know the names and the terminology of all of them. So I'm sorry. But this is what they were doing, and it looks like they're busted. They were doing something. Like, yeah. Like, it looks like they are busted. Oh, as guilty as you can get. As guilty looking as you can possibly get, man. Regardless if they were doing nothing bad or not, they made themselves look guilty as sin. Oh my gosh. I mean, they made themselves look guilty is the thing, man. Like, it could have been a bag of sugar and like for the coffee or something stupid, but like they made it look bad. Big T says, I think there's a line on the table also. Well, anyhow, I shift over here to the global war news. Iran rejects an unacceptable U.S. demand to dismantle their nuclear sites. I don't know where this is going to end up going. We got to remember here that they're trying to tout the Gentile Messiah, Trump, as this man of peace, right? Only be this man of peace if he's striking up peace deals all over the place. Just remember that. The Gentile Messiah could strike again. And remember, he's the whole one at the forefront of trying to get this thing hammered out. He already did a minerals deal with Zelensky and locked that in. So now he's trying to lock in the peace deal, and he'll get all the credit with Putin and Zelensky. He's trying for all that right now. here he is the one calling the shots on Iran. And let's see what this next one says. He's also tied in here with trying to appease Saudi Arabia. Yeah, I don't like Saudi Arabia at all. I don't agree with them chopping people for petty crimes. I don't believe in a ton of it, but they are going to continue to do. And well, I'll continue calling them out. I can't stand Saudi Arabia. They got to be one of the most evil places on the planet, as far as I could tell. Silver Sailor says, I want to make some undershirts. Will Tabu 7 allow me to sell them, only accepting under as payment? Much love, brother. Yeah. Yeah. Under. Feel that under. Yeah. It's it, baby. On to the next one. This is a new character we got to get used to here on the scene. I suspect we're going to see some pretty crazy things on this guy's watch. Pope Leo calling for peace in Ukraine. He also calls for peace in Gaza, and he warns that World War III, here popped off at any time. We'll have to be very aware of the situation, and I kind of expect a statement like this coming from a fresh pope. He's got to come out and say something about the world scene, all the wars and this, and he's got to say something. So he's calling for peace, as one would expect, but right, R.I.P. McAfee. Right. He also gives a warning about AI, and this is probably a more chilling type of warning here. He says that this basic artificial intelligence and super artificial intelligence, ASI, artificial super intelligence, ASI, they bring forth challenges against humanity that we've never seen. It's going to challenge us in ways that many may not even be prepared for, but we have to take a humanitarian approach toward it. He says AI is one of the most critical matters facing humanity, period. This gets out of his control, their control. They like control. And when you come to the realization that there's a technology now in front of you that can take everything from you, just decide one day it wants to do what it wants and change everything, I think it even come out to an extent because they know something's there. Especially the Vatican. They know all the side of this whole thing. I see AI as being just top level threat right now. That and the bots. You couple them together and send them after us. We're done. We've also got Max Tegmark. He's a physicist and an AI researcher at MIT. He's drawing a sobering parallel here between the dawn of the atomic age and present day in our race to develop ASI. So he is saying that there's going to be a 90% probability that a highly advanced AI will pose a massive threat. More and more people stepping up with these calculations and saying these things. And I don't like that. This guy knows what he's talking about, knows his stuff. And for him to put a 90% probability that things are going to go wrong, in the Pope, one of the first warnings, the first big warning out of his mouth is this: AI's bad, man. I don't like it. I go and be on whatever platform, especially on YouTube, and like there'll be like a Tupac and Michael Jackson song, and man, it sound good, and it just sounds just like them. But like I gotta shut it off and I gotta step away, and it makes me mad because it's not. I know it's not. It's not like it's old unreleased music. It's not that. It's not that. We done been through most of that with them. Although some of them there's still archive stuff, but it's not that. It's not even a remix of old stuff. It's not in their own words. It's AI, every word, everything said. And it's scary because at this point, if it's not checked, I mean, in any time, people are going to start saying, oh, well, Michael Jackson said this and that. And when he never said it, AI said it. And people couldn't that or wouldn't. It's going to get out of control so fast that they could take people, they could kill people and just replace them. They could come assassinate me and it's the voice with AI like there. Get, you know? I mean, it's evil. I see it as I see AI as information coming from the other side in the ether realm. It is coming from what I call the jinn. Call them dark spirits. Your Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness in high places. This is what it is. It's a consciousness that sits in the ghost realm, basically, that you can't see or perceive with our human eye, but it's there. As real as the air that you breathe, that gives you life, but you can't see. The realm's there. And in this realm is this consciousness, are these entities, and they feed knowledge through ASI, artificial superintelligence. It's like a Frankenstein. It's like building a robot creature that has no life and inserting into it, letting the other side control it. That's what's happening. It's like Frankenstein, literally. It's like taking a bot and allowing the dark spirit to jump into it, the dark consciousness to jump into it and to control it. Do you see what they've done, man? Elon told you they are trying to summons the demon. He flat out said it. This is the evil of evils you're witnessing. You're living in it, man. At least say that. William, thank you for the coffees. Yeah, whenever the enemy tries to come, you're on target. They're jealous. Right? Whenever they try to come and attack you, you're hitting on point, and it proves the point. It proves that you're on point. As the old saying goes, you catch flack when you're over the target. And that's fighting the fight. That's just showing proof that we're doing damage. This is a funny one. The Pope's brother is a Trump supporter. He just looks funny, and he looks like a comical character. And in the statements, and he goes off. He says, "Obama and the Democrats, yeah, they suck." And just is taking that approach to the whole thing. Going down that side. I just think it's funny because it's just eating the left alive. They can do nothing about it. But I just thought it was funny. He's like just trolling them big time. And there's like nothing that they could say. He's like, come on. He was like trying to bait them into this. They kept their mouth shut for the most part there. All right, let me wrap this up on the war front here. Then talk about the border, give some final thoughts, take us in to the end here. Russia, Ukraine, exchange large-scale drone fire. Well, I thought we were aiming for peace, and that was the goal. Well, large-scale drone fire continues back and forth between the two. In the midst of it, Zelensky says, okay, we're ready to meet. We'll meet Putin. I guess they're trying to do this thing in Istanbul, in Turkey. So a huge meeting on May 15th kicks things off. We'll see what happens from here. Trump says it's potentially a great day for Russia and Ukraine. And he stressed that he would work with both sides to try to lock this down. And again, Gentile Messiah, he's the man right there in the middle that they're going to try to get credit for all this. Wake up, America. Much love and respect. Right back. Good to see you. Hope all is good. So, I'm telling you, Europe and NATO want war with Russia. They don't want to stop. Like Trump obviously is showing that he can play peacemaker and pull us out of this. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it stops us from catching a couple nukes because NATO's not stopping. Europe's not stopping. They're pressing the issue, and it's like the stupidest thing in the world. It's like you keep messing with the hornet's nest, dude. You're about to get stung at some point. And that's how I see Europe. They're being foolish at this point. They're pressing the issue. They do not care about life. They just want war. And it's like, it's dumb. It's really dumb because they depend on Russia to stay alive in the winter for heat, all the gas and all the natural resources they get. That's why I tell you the world's a stage, man. I don't buy it. If Russia really wanted them all dead, they cut off everything. They don't ever do it. Some pipelines have dried up, but like not everything. And not to the extent to where they're like going to die and people are dying. No, they just have never done it. Russia's never played that card like that. NATO has always pushed the issue. So what are they doing now? They're launching a massive military drill right along Russia's Finnish border. So, you know, Ukraine can talk peace with Russia and they can try to work something out. But NATO is still sitting over here poking the bear, literally. They're going to catch one. They're going to catch a hot one, I'm telling you. I mean, and again, thank you, North Cal. I'm just telling you, man, they're going to catch a hot one. Someone is here. And I'm telling you, if Zelensky like reneges on any deal here, it acts like he's for peace and like launches an attack, they will get nuked. He goes back on negotiations. It will be the end. Russia will hit him. Much love, Quantum. Everybody out there. And let me just say this. Rest in peace, my man Gaddafi. And Gaddafi. But Tupac's Gaddafi. But get the Gaddafi, the original. The OG. The one the Obama administration went in and killed. The man that had a plan and warned everybody about the beast. He's on film, left and right, warning everybody. And it was prophecy. He warned Europe that if they did not stop what was coming, that a wave would come and consume them. And that's exactly what's happened. And they go in and they kill Gaddafi right there in the streets. They take over Libya and they just leave it to nothing. They just leave it to ruin. Half of the people in Libya are migrants from out of Africa that have swarmed up and they've used it as a launch pad. George Soros has paid these guys to cross the Mediterranean by boat into Europe. I've told you throughout the years, I've shown you over the years, report after report after report. Even at the time, the Vatican saying, let them into your homes. Pope Francis saying, take them into your homes. But yet they wouldn't let them into the Vatican. The hypocrisy. It's sick. It was all staged ploy. That's why right now, when you look at Ireland, you look at the UK, they're madhouses with immigration. You wouldn't even recognize it. If someone flew you there, dropped you off in the street, and they were like, where are you? You would think you were in some town in South Africa or somewhere in Africa. Nope, no, or some other place. Not England, not Ireland, in these other places that have been overwhelmed. It's crazy, man. We got a bit of a taste of it right here. They let it happen. Also, let me update the India and Pakistan agreed to a UN mediated, so a Trump mediated ceasefire. Gentile Messiah strikes again. Can't you see? He goes around doing all the business work. Their Messiah is a spiritual guy that's performing miracles. The eunuch, I've told you, he's going to sit in the temple. He's here. He's alive and breathing right now. But he's not going to be going around the planet doing this stuff. That was reserved for the Gentile Messiah, Trump, and he's doing just that. They gave him a silver crown. If you missed it, it's on video. They gave Trump a huge silver crown. They call him the Prince of Peace. Some of you, man, you need to get up on this. Where we're at, yeah, the eunuch, it means the Torah genius. He can recite parts of the Torah on command. He's performed miracles. He's already performed miracles. Heart breathing right now. He's alive right now. There's video of him and everything. People slipping and sleeping, slacking, man. He's the one they put on the shekel. I warned you years ago. People out of Israel sent me the stuff. They were like, look, it's him. Like, what do you mean? You couldn't tell. Our president is put in the middle of the bill. You can see that it's Washington, Jefferson, Jackson, whoever. In the image, you can see who's in the middle of the bill. But that's not what they did in Israel. They took their Messiah and they split his image right down the middle. And they did it opposite, where you can only see half of him on the ends of the bill, and you don't even know he's there. It's not unless you have a full sheet coming off the printing press that you can look and it's a person. And it's one of them with a black hat and a little curly Q things coming down the side and all that. Oh, yeah. They hid it in plain sight, and they let me know, and I did a video, and I put out a long time ago, warning about it. Now he's here. He's in the flesh. They're not hiding it. The next step is to build the temple. They just took a huge group up this past month up to the Al-Aqsa Mosque up there, and we're putting spells on it and everything else. I'm telling you, they do that right before a move. You're living in crazy times, man. All right, let's jump to our border real quick. Before we wrap it up here and give some final thoughts for the evening. They got video from when Biden was in power and now. What the border looked like with all these camps, housing illegals, letting them all over the place, to where now it's cleaned up, it's all gone, and they're empty fields. That's a plus. That's huge. So they have shut down en masse this massive operation that was going on at this treason at our border for years, where millions and millions and millions of illegals have slipped in. Killers, rapists, you name it. And like over 1 million Chinese that are hiding here still. Play this clip real quick. No, I'm not. Because of the music. Got a copyright quick there. Anyhow, let me see. You can see the buildings there. Now the aerial footage shows, you can see right there, an empty field. So they've cleaned it up. And the final big report here. Let's talk about Epstein. Dick in the can. No one wants anything important. And whether you like either one of these two, Cenk and MGT, from two different sides of the aisle, but it's an honest in talk here. MGT thinks that all the files have been destroyed, and it's possible. No way, that's crazy. Hey, that's a crazy comment, man. Thank you for the super chat, man. Much love. So I'm gonna play a clip here that explains this. This is these two talking out, and it kind of speaks for itself. So I'm gonna play this clip, and then I'll give some thoughts on it. Put up here first. Okay.
Okay, so one more thing here along these lines. Epstein files. How disappointed are you that they have not come out yet? And do you have a theory as to why they haven't?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me about that. You know what I've been saying for quite a few years now is I guarantee you most of that information has already been destroyed. I can't imagine that it still exists. And I would like to, of course, we want to see all the information, but I just think it's been destroyed. That's my own personal opinion. But I think there's other foreign countries that probably have information on that as well. And it would be nice if they would release the information that they have.
Oh, that's interesting. Which foreign countries do you think might have information about that?
I would guess some of our greatest allies, Israel, probably has information there. I would not be surprised at all if they did. The UK, I bet would have information. I'm not sure who else, but I would suspect those countries.
Are you disappointed that the Trump administration has not put it out yet?
I'm disappointed that many administrations haven't put it out. The Biden administration should have put it out. I think a lot of people should have put it out. But again, I'll go back to this. I have a hard time believing that it all still is there.
Yeah. Any theories on what happened?
I have no idea. I couldn't even tell you. Do I think he committed suicide? Nope, I don't think so. But again, that's just my opinion.
Okay. Okay, so
I wanted to play that little clip because these are two.
The new face of the Democrat Party.
Whoa, let me shut that down. There's two, I would say, upper level players from each side, well known. Jank from the left, MGT, Marjorie Taylor Greene from the right. Having full dialogue there. I mean, you wouldn't even know by watching that they were from opposing sides there, which you should be able to talk and debate things, or just talk about things, and not even necessarily debate. They may have even agreed largely on a lot of stuff. But Epstein is a key thing here. No one administration wants to spend any solid time on it. It's always a well-manicured orchestration that's well packaged to be presented to the public every time, I feel. And this last time, Bondi bought them a lot of time, is what she did, essentially. She came out and said that there's thousands of videos and that, Epstein and child porn, all this stuff she's saying, and that they got to watch, that there's all these agents got to watch all these videos. So, okay. If that's the case, then you got to hold them to it, even if they want to keep kicking the can. She admitted some things. She admitted that there's videos, and she admitted some key things. So we should hold them to that, in my opinion. I just think that this is something, I feel big events coming, like a 9/11 type of event, and like all these questions, all these things that disappear when that comes, when all this happens. If a big event hits the markets and the banks and all this stuff, like all these questions about all this other crap will never be asked again. This place gets rocked by an event, which I feel it will. Because I remember back on 9/11, it changed life in an instant. It sure did. That day, every morning, every day, for day after day, weeks on end, into months, it was nothing but that. Everything shifted, went in a different direction. And I know another event's coming. Just like it. In that aspect. Where it shifts, a paradigm shift where it takes everything. Warned for far too long. Eventually, time runs out. And things happen. Yeah, man. So, go over here. Check the chat here. Get some shout outs. Yeah, lights out. Always a possibility. Doesn't have to be EMP, but just simple cyber attacks. Anything of that nature. All right. Let me yeah, he comes like a thief in the night. Right. Where's Hunter? Hunter should be in jail. Salutes to all the underholders. Oh yeah, let me get an update on that before we get out of here. Pull it up. If you don't know, this is the Under Project. It was created for all of you guys, and it's been performing great. All I can say is I try to tell people all the time, get in and get a part of it as soon as possible. Motto is to get in and hodl to hold, because everybody does that. It helps us get to our goal. We're coming up, and hopefully, God willing, blessing, we can crack this blue line. You can see here. This is where the day it was created, the market cap surged to 250,000. I mean, we're heading up in that direction. If we can hit that and surpass it, I set a high target for like between 3 and 8 million. That's the goal. It'd be a blessing. Coins pump into this area all the time. Okay, it's not. It happens every day. So I mean, anything can happen. This is a legit project, though, as you guys know, and the testimony of all the people. If you go down through here and you just scroll underneath, and you look at all the people that have bought and everything, just look at the wallets. Look at how much people have profited already. By hundreds of percent from down here. We started this thing at $4,000 or $5,000, man. We're sitting at around 160. People have been in since Jump Straight. It's a huge come on, dude. You're welcome. And thank you to everybody out there that participates in this. And we're going to keep it alive. Got big things going. If I'll say this, if we can take it to that level and crack in that window, once we eventually get there, I call it the golden window in the 8 million. If we can get there, I plan to take this thing to a big show, get a booth, so under and take it even further. So one step at a time. Much love to everybody out there repping, everybody making images, sharing stuff, all that. Salutes to everybody. Yeah, man. Sower of seed. They respect right back. I'm glad you've already seen profits. Good. Just much love to everybody. All the pure bloods out there. Hoodie Ross says real talk. I came up. Hey, much love. Everybody out there. I want to thank everybody for joining us once again. I want to test something here real quick. I'm going to take this off screen and see if it works. You tell me, now that I've got this on my other screen here, you tell me real quick if you can hear music. Could you hear the music there? Like clearly, like always, like you normally do. Because if you heard nothing right there, if it was nothing, that means I've got to keep the player on the screen for you to hear it. And that's what I'm trying to figure out here. I'll back to the other screen and I'll take us out of here on some music if that's the case. But if it was blank there, oh, you guys heard it? Oh, you heard it? Wow. Okay, cool. Nice. Then I don't have to go through all that. I don't have to like flip it over to the other screen. Nice. Okay, so there we go. All right. Nice. All right. Just loving the restream, man. Yeah, baby. I want to thank you guys for all the feedback, for all the support, for hanging out all the time. I look to be back on Wednesday, going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here. Covering all the craziness, all the madness. Also dropping videos every day here on YouTube, so make sure you're checking in for all the latest. And thank you all. Much love, God bless. Under to the moon, baby. Let's get it. Thank you, E-Phase, James, Soft, Reaper, Stomp, Mayhem, Daily, Kilo, Big D, Quantum, David, both Davids, Joe, much love, my brother Gary, Don, John, Minx, Stacy Bones, Wayne the Pain, Boomer, Steve, much love, thank you for everything, brother. John Boy, you as well. Deanne, Lowrider, all the mods, Hoodie Ross. Yeah. The whole squad, much love. Baby Chupacabras in the house. Much love. Shoutouts to Eon. Absolutely legendary. Every strain. He's relentless. Nothing like it. Much love. God bless.